Hello, today's video is going to be about making an uber strict loot filter when playing with friends and guildies. Have you ever struggled in group play with a very strict loot filter and it's showing too much, or an uber strict plus filter and it's just not showing enough, and you want something right in the middle and something just slightly extra because the uber strict is just kind of not quite there? Well, today's video is going to show you some simple, easy navigation through this entire filter customization, and to make it just a little bit more defined than the regular uber strict, which is still right in that sweet spot just under the uber plus strict. All right, so let's get started. First thing we're going to do is make sure that we are on the uber strict, and as you can see, it's already going to start hiding a bunch of things. When I click on the customization tab, we're going to just go right down to the currency here. I'm going to look at the E tier and D tier, and because the value of bobblers are so low right now, it's not even worth picking up. It'd be like a few hundred for one divine. And that's going to be, almost half your stash of just bobblers alone to get one divine. It's just not worth picking up. Same thing with regal orbs. Veil orbs are questionable, but they don't drop as often, so those are quite alright. Armor scraps, same situation. I'd rather just, trade a few chaos orbs or exalted orbs to get those few items there if I really need them when crafting. They're fine if you're playing by yourself, but for the purpose of this video and group playing, not something you want to be picking up. Especially in like extra super juiced content. Alright, so now that that's been kind of taken care of, the next thing we're going to do is go down to the gold. We don't want to see a bunch of gold piles everywhere. I still like to leave the large gold piles, but sometimes I do like to bump it up to 2,800 if I'm playing with 4 or 5 people, but if it's just 2 or 3 people, 2,500 is fine. And then we're going to scroll down a little bit more to the rings, amulets, and belts. And as you can see, this right here, this whole control tiering section will not automatically, it kind of just controls everything that's for these 4 tabs. So your normal items, it's going to be ranks B and A. So if you just look at your rank A and then rank B, that's going to be your amulets, belts, and rings. Now, I don't really care for the belts. So what I like to do is, for this scenario, because I don't like belts, I just really don't. Um, I'll usually take the belts off, and then I'll just leave these like as is. In fact, what I'll do here is I'll even sometimes disable rank B, because if you look at rank B's rings and amulets, I don't really care for them all that much compared to rank A's amulet and rings, because these are the ones that are going to hold that higher value. Because the B rank ones you could just buy in bulk for 2-3 exalts on trade right now, pretty quick. These, um, a little bit like harder to come by with decent stats on them. So that's why we're gonna keep those ones on there. All right. Then going up to the rare tier, um, say, pretty much the same thing. What I would like to do here is, because with the Uber Strict Plus Plus, it's gonna pretty much disable rank C and B. But since I just moved a bunch of stuff to rank C, that was rank B, I'm going to disable the C because I don't really care for those unless they are tier 4. And then again, because I don't really care much for these rank Bs, I'm not going to really worry about ranks 2 and 3. I'm just going to keep the 4. And then because I do like the rank As, I'm going to keep tiers 2, 3, and 4. All right, that makes sense, right? Yep. And I'm not really sure what this is here. This is just showing that it'll drop rares if they are level 65 or higher. I don't really want that. And I don't really want this either. I don't mind if my A's drop with non-tiered, which is tier 1, but you know, they just don't throw a tier on there, which is great. Saves a little bit of reading. Yeah, so pretty much all that's done. Weapons and armors. This is the greatest subject. A lot, and a lot of the melee weapons are kind of bad right now in this game. Now, I will tell you right now that the first thing you're going to want to do is go to your rank B in your controlled tiering list. You're going to click on rank C. You're going to click on all of this. All of it for the body armors, the boots, bucklers, focus, gloves, even the helmets. Let's slow down here. Just the shields. All right. Now, there are wands, bows, and crossbows that I do want to keep. So I'm going to go through this list a little bit slower. So regular staff, another regular staff I don't want. I'm going to keep the bow, but I don't want the hammer. And I don't want the spear, the maul, the club. Again, I'm probably going to keep the bows. Actually, kind of looking through all this list, there's not really too much that I do want. Fanatic bow. Let's see here. Flexed bow, spear. Don't want any spears. I don't want any quarter staffs. If it's a quarter staff or a spear, don't want it. And you'll see why in a moment. More or less, it just takes up too much inventory space, and it's like one of those things where there's so many of them, you could easily buy them on the trade site or through the new auction house system, very cheap as bases, craft on them. It's just not worth your time or space picking up when there's a bunch of other stuff that you can be picking up that's worth a lot more. All right, that's going to be the easiest way to explain that. The only scepter that we want is the rattling scepter. And then the rest of these we can just kind of leave as is. Now we're going to go to rank A. And pretty much we're going to click rank B. We're going to move all of this to rank B. Because the body armors, I want to be on a lower tier than the wands in general, and I think like 2 of the quivers. So yeah, again, anything that says staff or spear, quarter staff, spear, mace. Now leave the massive great hammer. This I noticed drops with like the +5 plus to skills and has like a high physical, high elemental damage. Uh, Kind of a really good great hammer, fanatic great hammer. Those are all fine, right? Let me see what else we got here. The staff, don't want it. Omen scepter, don't really care for that as much either. These ones, all good because they can give you pretty good plus to skills. I don't really care for the siege crossbow, but for the purpose of this video and to make life simple, I'm just going to leave that on. All right. So now, actually, I am going to take the siege crossbow, put that as B. All right. So now the only thing that's left on the A list is just your great hammers, your bows, crossbows, quivers, and your wands, right? Your good wands. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to your normal base tier. We're going to click on A. So this could be your A rank. We're going to show, and we're just going to do 81. We're going to click all three of these boxes here, and we are going to just do a very simple blue color for the text. Maybe like just red and yeah, just a black background. Pretty much you're going to want to pick up all of these because these are going to be your crafting bases that you're going to use to craft. I make the font size just 32 regular, which is going to be smaller than everything else, just so that it's easier to see your screen. And again, the item level is 81. And the reason we moved all the B rank stuff to C and then A to B, so that the wands and scepters and the bows and quivers are all rank A. This is bringing all of your helmets, gloves, and boots and body armors, put them at rank B. And this is why the uber strict is the sweet spot, because you can limit out those base items that are not really worth as much picking up and still pick up, tier 4s. So we don't want to see any of the C's, and we don't really want any of the tier 3 rank B's, because those again are going to be your gloves, your boots, your helmet, your body armors. It's okay if they're tier 4, because with tier 4s you could still, pick those up, identify them really quick, and throw them back on the ground, because you either know that they're not good or you're going to keep it in your inventory because it's going to have like super high life and 2 elemental resistances, or something that is going to obviously just be right there in your face and be like, this item is worth 25 plus exalts easy all day long, right? And that is kind of the purpose of having that. And then for your rank A's, we're going to enable that, because again, this is just your crafting bases as a magic, right? Same thing with rares. You just want to have it showing tier 4 helmet, body, gloves, boots, and then tiers 2, 3, and 4 for your wands and crossbows and quivers that in your even your two-hand great maces. Anyways, you get the idea. Really good stuff, all tiers. Kind of okay good stuff, just tier 4 only. That way it saves you a lot of room on your stash as you're trying to follow your group and make life easy, and then you don't just have a bunch of stuff sitting in a dump tab at your hideout, right? Perfect. So now we're going to go down to exceptional identified items. And one of the things we're going to look at is breach rings. Breach rings says 82. We're going to bring it down to 81. I've noticed there's a lot of very valuable, decent 81 rings, believe it or not. So that's just the one change we're going to do, because why not? And then endgame salvageable. This is the one that throws people off, because people get all the way up to uber strict and then they're like, wait a minute, there's some white items still showing. What's going on? Well, what it actually is it's a white item that has at least 10% quality on it. We're going to bump that up to 18%. That way, if it's a white item that drops, it's got 18% quality, and then you only have to throw 1 armor scrap at it, and then boom, it's like near perfect, and it's ready for crafting. Make your life super simple. Do it at 18%. If you really, really want to be super extremely strict about it, you can even do um, something like, I wouldn't say like area level. I mean, you could do like an area level if you're doing like tier 15, 16 maps versus juice tier 14s. You could even just do quality like 19 or 20. But for the purpose of this video, and trust me, this is very, very uncommon. This is like maybe once every 2 maps, even if they are juiced. So we're just going to leave it at that 18% because, again, it's just not going to be that common that it shows up. We can even give this a text, but a border. Let's just do, whoa, no, definitely don't want to do that. And we'll just do border red. Means quality, easy, simple. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. As far as making, very defined little base changes. Now we can go to our simulate tab. We're going to jump it up to, let's say 83, on a good day. Generate your loot. You're going to see that even on-cut support gems at even like level 5 are just not going to show up anymore. And as you can see, a lot of these bases, because they're not tiered, they're just not going to show up. Galvanic Wand. Now, remember, red border, blue text, that's a crafting base. So this is going to be a white item that is going to be over level 81. Item level 81. Same thing with this. Now, this is not going to be an item level. This is going to be area level. I think it was 65 by default. Again, that last step that I was just showing you, you can change it to make sure that it is 80. But I mean, like if you're running juiced content, I mean, obviously it's going to be, 80 plus. And then quality, 18%. And then if you do kind of see it more often for 18%, because you got like a really good group and you're in like a 5-man, again, you can increase it to 20, not a big deal. All right, generate valuable loot. This is going to be loot that's a little bit more common if you're killing like rares and bosses. And as you can see, a lot of gloves and boots and helmets and even one-handed maces, like, it's just not there anymore. And again, like, it's all the ones that are only, like, they're the lower tiered bases, so it's not, like, gonna have really good high tiered stats. And if it does, it's not gonna have, like, a high flat EOS armor and evasion. Same thing for the weapons. Even if it does have like decent stats, it's not going to have a good amount of flat damage. So even though it's got the stats, the flat damage is going to be so low that nobody's going to really want that item, right? Also, even if it's for you personally, it's not going to be a really good item that it's going to like be super good for your build. Let's just put it that way. Unless it's just something with life and resistances, but I mean, you know, that's for when you solo play. This is group play filter. And yeah, so I think that is pretty much it for this video. As you can see, there's really not that much that drops anymore. um Maybe sometime in the future, if you guys subscribe to my videos, keep an eye on my channel, I might do a gameplay video of this filter. Just kind of showing you some juiced content. Might be able to do it later this week, maybe next week. And you would get a better idea of how it would look um, in game versus just kind of looking at the item generator, simulator, etc. Again, thanks for watching this video. Hope this helped and good luck out there. Bye.